Okay, welcome. Today, I would like to share some things on Internet of Things situations, especially relating to agricultural industries, the use of IoT for agricultural industries in Thailand, looking into the uh, perspective, the industry's perspective, and the trends towards that utilization. So let me look from the current screen. Okay, so the content sequence that I would present today uh, is as follow. Really, from this presentation, from this slide of sharing, one of course is we will get to understand what is the policy situations that we can obtain from the existing application. And also, I interviewed one of the, the experts. He was the president of the IoT associations in Thailand's previous years, and and I will demonstrate with IoT enabled business model in a sense that you will also indirectly uh, get some, we will also interact, okay, and get some benefits on these business competency, the things that we need to do in competencies wise to improve, I mean, to get this IoT be successful in this agricultural industry. And also we can also look at the competitive strategies that how we can integrate and make use of all the resources in all those IoT resources in a unique way that can uh, uh, deliver the values that are able to get attractive to the market, and then we can continue to earn the incomes and profits. And so in a way that we are focusing on also competitive strategy. So without some further delay, let's look into things. So we will focus on the trends, the rationalities, the principle, the directions for this research, and how we're going to do it, and the method we use, and then discuss the results and do some recommendation. So it is very simple sharing, but it is a strategic sharing, and it's very important, and it is also certainly a dialogue into the AI, the trend. We are moving into this artificial AI intelligence trend. If you look carefully in the previous, let's say, if we look carefully in the previous 20 plus 30 years and the next 20 years plus, we will see that we're still focusing on the robots, but things are slightly different. You see, we want robots. The huge impact on manufacturing. Previous 20 years, we want humans to become robots, so we can do a lot of things, right? So we design robots and we implement we install the robots in these manufacturing and environments, and that is basically the industry 4.0. But in the next 20 years, we want robots to be like a human, and so that it can interact with this society in a more humanistic way, and help humans realize their dreams rather than replacing the humans. And there we are moving into industry 5.0. The definition is still being taken shape. Robots becomes intelligent and self-learning, autonomous, capable of interacting with the human being, and suggesting what to do. Okay? That is the direction. And contextually rich solution-driven trend. So we are in a context that is rich in information and data, and therefore we can, if we can make use of the technologies to obtain the meaning makings of and sense making of those data information, we can then respond, with predictive capabilities and prescriptive capabilities to suggest what we can do to better deliver a better outcome. And so we can derive a set of rules based on intelligence, right? Based on our analytics capability. So this is what we mean by contextually rich solution. And because we individually, all our individuals data and behaviors are being if are being captured and in this environment. For example, the what we say in our Facebook and the purchasing records that we have with certain platform. So all these kind of situations allow personalizations, customization, okay, including precision prescriptions on the medicines, the way we eat, and of course plus our own his medical records and things like that. And so things are getting can be more personalizations, and with more personalizations, it comes along with a lot of the consequences. It could be more emotion. We feel more emotionally touched. We feel more connected, and we feel we have more trust on the delivery system of the values, and so that would really creates a sustainable competitive advantages for companies with in that particular capabilities and competencies. So again, these are sort of competencies that we need to define and require, and certainly are the next trend. Not really the next trend, is the trends moving, starting, it's already happening, and it continues to be more active. And because of this uh, GPS, and because we're internet, so we are on the 5Gs and 6Gs, so we're on a real-time engagements, and we're seeing that, for example, today's news that governments in China are large-scale experimenting on the futures internet, right? And things like that. So you can look at the news, and so we are moving into newness trend. Everything can be new. Really, by new, it is has not been defined, but we know that certainly it has certain connectivities and intelligence issues that allow this newness to be imaginatively defined. To define, and so that's we can focus on a lot of news, and that new is it's a very innovative concepts, creative concepts that we can transform into a real world system, and so this will therefore create a lot of businesses and empowering the economy. So we're talking about new financial system, because there are more individuals, companies, smaller size companies or individual companies are capable of participating in a common shared platform, where previously you're not able to do that because you don't have sufficient monies and sufficient investments, but now we can participate in that multi-sided business ecosystems platform, and with that you're transforming this economical system, and probably and towards more entrepreneurial rather than being competitively driven. And so we are talking about all this kind of news, and by making use of technologies, we also have that new manufacturing and conceptualizations of how we deliver and how we create the value to serve the customers better, to save the time to the customer because of our interconnectivity, and to present the customers with all this touch point that allow them to feel more safe and more confident on our services. So we have new services, and all these kind of things are integrating those and putting them into reality, we're talking about competitive strategies, and we are making use of all this new digitally transformed competencies and business ecosystems driven competencies. All these are competencies area. These are competitive strategy area, and these are the next area for also the business and social research scholars, of course, certainly engineers. And the business trends, therefore, are without borders and moving into the smart era, because we have more capability to integrate all this data information and our analytics power for predictability, predictions, and also prescription, things like that. So, and we can also, and therefore we have a more holistic and more systemic view, so managements will have a more visualized power, and hopefully with that environments we becomes more creative, and because of the data finding a lot of opportunities where to fill the gap, so there are a lot more entrepreneurship, more innovative opportunities, things like that. So this digital connectivities and presence really drive a lot of as things happens. Okay, so these are the business trend, and of course towards share economies and planted economy. Share meanings everybody. I have just explained that everybody sharing the resources, and so we do not we are transcending from an individual company-based, firm-based competencies towards to a more orchestrative uses of the resources of various different complementars and host and stakeholders, including governments, policies, so they can accelerate the development, such as I have an opportunity to talk about cannabis. And to accelerate the emergence cannabis industry development, we need stakeholders such as government, so that they can approve the policies and regulations and things like that. And so shared economy is very important. If we are and this shared economies is taking shape in the shared cybernetics resources and shared physical resources. And if we, for example, we have the shared byte, but if we are implementing it, but we are not able to organize how we share things and how we, caring for each other's, then the things will not be able to get sustained. And because of this analytical capabilities, economies can be more systematically planned. So planning that before was not able to to handle and tackles uncertainties. Now, because of more knowledge that we have, then we are more able to plan systematically and systemically based on computations and things like that. So the economy can be redefined in a more deterministic sense as well. So really, with digital capabilities and artificial intelligence capability, things start to get redefined, and some of the terms that we think are not appropriate cannot be used, can be redefined and be used in a new direction. And so the trends are coming. If I speak trend, the speed is very fast and it's non-stoppable, and therefore we got to jump on this bandwagon of Internet of Things and cloud computing systems, blockchain, and digital trend, and all these are necessary. Okay, so now the question is, this is unstoppable, but how do we are we ready to invest money on it? On that and intercept it, right? And a lot of countries are already moving into these directions and taking a lot of effort. And of course, Thailand is one of the pioneer in this area, and faster than many of those ASEAN countries. But we should not take things for granted, because to start is not difficult, but to get things done in a systematic way, it's if you look into the complexity theory, you look into this system theory, we know that it is never a straightforward issue, because there is a potholes, interactions, and everybody got to be moved in that synchronized direction. And from the business perspective, you really have to have the support of the industries taking shape. What otherwise, if the industry is not able to take shape, then it's not happening, right? So this is very important. So first of all, I would like to share with you what exactly is IoT and how we can make use of it. I mean, intuitively and indirectly, I already have explained it in a quicker sense, and you can look at it as this cyber physical system, where we have a cybernetic system, which is a digital platform system, and which is a reflection of the physical system, and how we can, because the digital system is so fast and capable of doing so many things and integrate and models being recreated again and again, and so we can make a lot of quick adjustments. But physical system is a physical investments that is not easily changed. And so, but we can make use of sensors, and we can make use of sensors and feedback into this cyber system, and where cyber systems can then make use of all these analytics capabilities, from descriptives all the way to predictive and prescriptive, in that sense, so that we can generate a lot of new rules and regulation, intelligence rules and regulations, to come and control and adjust the physical system. So there is a mutual interactions between cyber and physical in a very seamless, symbiotic, robust manner. So a new technological paradigm has started to, as a result of this cyber-physical situation, has starting to take shape, and that is about a network value co-creations that everybody is co-creating among each other, and because of the sensors and data and information that we can pick it up and send it to the crowd systems, or and assisting with the assisted by the crowd, the blockchain system. And so we can therefore everyone's co-create and integrate, and serving as a supplier, serving as a complementer, serving as a value value creation. Some of them are in value capturing systems or whatever. So and fundamentally, these are all service dominant logic in a digital sense. Okay, meaning that we're servicing people, we're servicing the stakeholder, we're servicing the entire business, we're servicing common share visions of humanities and things like that. So that is a new paradigmatic technology. And again, this paradigmatic, it's very important in innovations and change at a very high level, because it transcends the whole thought processes and guide all the whole thought processes. So it's very much an organized system of change. So in that network sensor enabled systems, everything like chair and our cups or our tables and everything, or the soils or the weathers, and everything around us can be transformed into a smart thing, and because of this Internet of Things sensing. And so we can sense, process whatever data that we sense and communicate it through this technological internet system, and then go through this computing, and then we can sense the signals back to the to these motors and actuators to actuate, right, to control and allow the physical systems to deliver in a very smart way. So we are turning everything. So tables becomes talk, becomes able to sense, becomes able to think, becomes able to talk, becomes able to listen, becomes able to suggest, and so on and so forth. So we are turning things we are equipping this everything into with the six senses. So everything is logistically and intellectually accessible. So logistics is therefore not only physical logistics, we're talking about digital logistics, and not only this movement transactional issue, but also we can intellectually assessing them. So we are transforming in the future all these logistic themes, logistics meaning from a simple direction, simple transportational and you know types of things and storage and things into more intellectual logistical movement, interconnecting everyone so that we can deliver all these right things, right product to right people, the right customers or right stakeholders, in the business ecosystems at the right time, at the right place, with the right conditions and right quantities and at the right cost and zero cost, in fact. And so cyber physical systems, therefore, is the physical systems whichever we have you've seen from these pictures, and they're interacting we are interacting and transforming all these physical data interactions and engagements into data form through and communicating to our service layer, and then to the analytics, providing different services at the applications layer, so that we can have smart logistic predictions, smart prediction, smart control, smart monitoring, smart cities, smart communities, and so on and so forth, and things like that. And things can be controlled back into this physical system. So these are the trends moving forward into this IoT utilization. So what we're going to do to help, now we have laid the groundwork, what we're going to do to help us understand and where we are moving into agriculture, IoT-enabled agriculture, or digitally enabled agricultural industry. Well, at this moment, if you look carefully, it's not that straightforward because we still lacking of published data. But there are some general policy types of data, and you can probably extract from the public resources, but also you can do some observations and interviews and a lot of government university laboratories and the research scholars. You can work with them and see what is happening and the actual implementations of those cases here and there. So if you slowly find, you should be able to do, but it's a little bit of working. We have to really look into the detail, and so we hope that we can fill those gaps, at least to start to fill the structural, the intellectual intellectual guideline, so that we can start to draw some next research recommendations and suggesting to the industries what to do, and propose some dialogue on business models and things like that. So these are very, very, very important. So we can approach how we're going to approach from here. About we're going to certainly, as I told you, that we're going to do some interviews and extract some of the published information to look at how people perceive the perceptions of people, and also this putting into the perspective on in terms of a business model, so that at least there is structures, architectural integrative structures of how resources at different of the supply side and the demand side and the value propositions can be integrated to create some logic for business operation that can hopefully demonstrate some competitive advantage, which is competitive strategies and competencies in those areas. So we need to, first of all, we need to make sense at these industries and national level, and so that you will know, as a whole in the Thailand industries, where are we? Do we equip with this some of the factors of competitiveness that are that we have not missed, and but yet we still need further efforts on it, so that we can make more systematic effort to really materialize this competitiveness capability. So we are really taking a snapshot of the entire industries and at the national level, so that we can know whether we are, as in Thailand, are we possessing this competitiveness requirement prerequisite, and that is very important because from the complexity theory and the system theory point of view, those are these manifestations of this competitiveness demonstrate the attractors for investment. So when people look at the competitive environment of this IoT enabled or digitally driven types of atmosphere, then investment will start to pull in, and then this competitiveness will increase. So competitiveness it takes a great deal of effort, right? But we have to see them as attractors, and that is a diamond. So we can, because of a diamond, so we will borrow also Potter's diamonds, okay, to lay the groundwork for investment. So again, you will see, you will learn about the company's ability to make use of the diamonds environment, so that we can invest our monies on this in this environment, so that we can generate develop the competencies, okay, and also this and make use of those competencies for opportunities and turn it into what we mean by competency-based competitive strategy. Objective, therefore, after that is the as I just explained it, is to give the confidence in investments. Just to elaborate a little bit on this confidence, and so the first is to build the confidence for as a prerequisite for investors to feel this there is this future competitiveness direction, and there is government support and industries activeness that there is no doubt about it, and we also learn from the Michael Porter's 5 forces, even those if you want to move into this digital context, we have to be careful, because we are not only in, especially in business ecosystem, we are not in a competitive in that area. Of course, that's competitiveness, competitive competition. It's necessary, but it is not like I and you compete until we have brought, the red ocean. But it is certainly a foundation for where the attractiveness are. And that is serving at the attractors at the industry level. So that is very important for Michael Porter's 5 forces. Even those we need more collaborative and more entrepreneurial things that I have just explained in the business ecosystem. And so therefore, the second confidence level is the confidence at this business model levels, which is involving innovative use of IoT. And at the industry, at the business operations level, business models level, that make use of this innovation, innovative technologies, and integrate and orchestrate all these resources and competencies that turn it into competitive capabilities and things like that. So we're talking about compatibilities is so when investors or customers or users or farmers in agriculture, when they want to look at things and use it and invest money on it, they want to see whether it's compatible with what they have been doing it, and can they try and can they observe what happened, and after implementing, is there any relative advantage compared with what, and is it simplicity, or rather it is very complicated that they have no competencies to deal with it. And all these are necessary requirements for fast adoption and diffusions of IoT in that environment. Okay, so if we can, so when we design the business model, we also need to incorporate all this compatibility, trialability, observability, relative advantage, complexity, simplification of this technology innovation, diffusion attributes. We call it the theory of perceived attributes into that perspective, so that our implementations of business models can be more more easily accepted. And as a result, the industry start to boom, and reaching up to the national diamonds environment. Okay, so we are interacting between the national environment and the business operations strategic environment. And then finally, we will, after giving you the draft outline of this business model of for agriculture industry and in the business model sense, and then we will do a quick implication summary, and particularly also we'll focus on this hindering and enabling factors and factor structures that we have learned from the previous Porter Diamond's discussion and some of the business model structures and things like that. So we will not go out of the scopes of business models and this industry, the Michael Porter's environment. And so in short, this competence buildings of the objective 1 and 2 and the case highlights will in fact help us to clarify the so-called trilogies of strategies. So in a way, we are actually making use of this trilogy of strategy, and so it is also an opportunity for me to introduce you what does it mean by a trilogy of strategy, and this trilogy strategy is really the framework for competency developments and framework for competitive strategy formulation. And the key very important thing is the context. As I have already explained it, the context is this competitiveness at the national area domain, where it is not necessary to be mature, but at least people can feel and sense and see some explicit evidences of this competitiveness, readiness, and discussion, at least at this some of the explicit level, policy levels and implementations of the policies level. And within that context, once we are ready, once we feel confidence on that, then we invest money on the next level of business of the concept. And that concept is the ones that generate us the business model. So before we jump straight into the business model and deal with all these different conduct and the strategy, we really have to come up. We really have to know what kind of things what kind of conceptual direction that we need to deliver. And help us design the business model. And one of those I have just explained is the technology diffusions, the compatibility, observability, trialabilities, and all these complexities and simplifications that I have just explained it. So that kind of concept will help us ensure that our business models, each of the integrations of resources and components in the business architectures will be able to quickly be adopted and diffused into through the in our industry. And the other thing is that because of this, our target is targeting, our focus is targeting on business model that has quick adoption by the industry stakeholders and players. And therefore, we also incorporate concept like theory to plan of behavior, that we know that behavior investing some business model is planned, meaning the intentions come from do we have a good attitude? Do the stakeholders have a good understanding on what is going on that we are suggesting? And do they feel confidence that they're able to in control of that, and that they feel that they're that everyone is supporting and utilizing that system? And so this all this theory to plan of behavior and national competitiveness of diamonds models I have just explained. All these concepts integrating those will form these conceptual cohesion and guidelines for implementing this business model. And I mean, and also as a, if you're looking, if you're a strategist, if you are this research strategist or researchers, then we can consider those concepts as our interviews protocol. And these interview protocols would then allow us to interview people's in within that conceptual boundary and within that context to generate all these business model themes, things like that. So we will look into visual data analysis, document analysis, interviewing peoples and observing working groups, and then therefore draw some thematic understanding of what is happening and within the things that I have just explained, which is the interviews protocols and this context and these things like that. Look into the global national data. I run a quick data comparison, statistical, all this national data from different countries, and I was able to find that global competitiveness come from not only the physical logistics, but also come from the digital logistics. So the digital logistic, which was not obvious previously, it was not into the pictures on the previous years, starting to becomes very, very important driving force to enable the competitiveness of a nation in a global basis, and it's getting very, very high weight in comparisons to this physical logistic. And so this digital cyber and physical things are working hand in hand and parallel with each other. And we need to know that they are still in a developing direction, developing stages and evolution. And that therefore, to do that, we need to have we need to have support of institutional theory, and we need to support by the innovation theory. So the global innovation and index, which is demonstrating the innovation capabilities and the results of this of a nation's innovation is very important, and the institutional practices also very important. And they both support the cyber-physical situation. And if you look carefully in terms of this incorporating just this digital cyber-physical system, and within that cyber-physical context, which is the what we mean by IoT, agriculture and system industry. And if you look into the national competitiveness readiness or discussion in Thailand, we see that in fact many of them are in existence. And just give you the pictures on the Porter's diamonds models on this competitiveness of this IoT driven industries at this national level. To have this competitiveness, we need to integrate niche specializations and competence, capabilities, and ability to use that in realistic manner. And so we're talking about factors readiness. We're talking about consumer markets readiness. We are talking about all this supporting industry, and we are talking about all this institutional and strategic the shape of this industry in our nation. And so these are all very, very important. So we're talking about, therefore, are we ready human-wise? And what about the tangible, intangible resources, tangible in the IoT equipments, digital platforms, and whatever, and supporting industry security systems and blockchains and all these issues, and learning organization, universities ready to teach them, and our staff at the universities done with a lot of research in those areas, and what about the servitizations activeness in our market that people are starting to look into beyond product types of services to the manufacturing environment, and turning the factories into smart environment. Do we have that kind of market? And is our strategies at these industries transparent, be supported on an equal basis under the institutional rules and regulations and shared economy context and things like that? So these are this diamond situation. So now you have this overall background, times to get drilled into this document. And we know that agricultural industry is a very important export earning, especially for the rural income, rural areas in Thailand. But again, the GDP percentage sharing of the agriculture is going down from in the 1960s, almost nearly 30, almost 40, and then nowadays is only about 10 and less. And so this are very, very troublesome, and this kind of direction, it could be partly because of the arable land, but it's also because of this aging societies, and so we do have in this kind of situation, one way to do is to improve the productivity. If you learn the productivity equations, output divided by input, so we have to output is a function of the input, and therefore the functions can be transformed and leveraged in quantum leap. We call non-Newtonian innovations and transformations of competency. It's very important to in quantum leap our productivities of agriculture. So we really need to do that. Otherwise, we are subjecting ourselves to the disadvantages of this aging societies and the accelerating of the decreased trend of this GDP sharing of our from agricultural industry. So if we look into and talk to many people from Thai government and institution, private industries, that people have started to work on IoT, such as at the hospitals area, or central department stores or government agencies that are into IoT utilizations and more and things like that, and the telecommunication. We will be able to really find and bring up the big pictures that not only that Thailand has already started focus on every perspective of the diamond, and plus, so with the government's serious on it, and the opportunity is created in the market now, the chance. But also we also see from all these people that we actually integrating these three levels of diamonds at the same time, because Thailand is a very the local community in Thailand is a very it's a small country, and we need to integrate ASEAN's market and the world market. So our IoT agriculture is serving not only the local community but also the ASEAN market and the world market. And so this diamond reinforcement of this of different nationalities and global nation, it's a very important contribution, and that is the common this dialogue platforms of all these people, and so we offers institutional motivation for as a result for industry, and it's a big scale, large scale, and that is certainly worth of it. And from the institutional pressure perspective, yes, it is also very, very important and urgent, because if we are slowing down our implementation investments, ASEAN's picking it up, and the world market certainly picking it up, and then we will be will be lagging behind. So we have institutional pressures and motivation, and we can use that competitiveness strategy stage of this nation and the industry of as a result to help us to be a guide for how we can activate and design our business model in a way that can contribute to this competitiveness nature of this of the industry in national industries level. And we'll go through pretty quickly, but I hope that you can probably sort of imagine by yourselves looking at this broad variables or domain, which we have already explained it. And one of them is the demand condition. And so on the demand conditions, we a lot of discussion has been going on in Thailand on to end-to-end IoT end-to-end and total solution. So we are not focusing on fragmented individual solution for agriculture. We look forward to a shared common platform, and through utilizations of the shared common platforms and blockchains and cloud computing system, we can have an end-to-end and total solution. So we offer a complete solutions from soil identification, nutrients identifications, landscaping, and weather broadcasting, and adjustment, and the water, systems, and fertilizing systems. And so it's a total complete solution because we can integrate all this data. Otherwise, it will not serve the purpose. And it must drive all this, not only in this ASEAN's market and world market, but most importantly is the home demands market. And that is also very important, because if the home demands interest is not there, then how that means that we are living in an environment where it's not attractive. And so no matter how we are good and motivated, we will have no motivation. And there is and so this home demands is very important to make our industries more competitive. So you can go into deeper of this knowledge from Michael Porter's. And so to do that, home demand, we need to create diversities of industry. So it's not only into this one area of industry, we need to create a diversity of industry, so that a diversities of people, externality impact will create a common dialogue in the industries, which will then help each others to get motivated. Okay, and another thing is the because in our industries we have a lot of small medium industries, so it is not only the large industry. In order to have an impact, we really need to motivate mass people, a lot of people, and that kind of people is small medium industry, not the large one or two industry, where it's very difficult to talk to the CEO. It's only one, but the SME we're talking about millions our people. And so manufacturing factories are very important, because there are the ones that will be sensors, multi-sensor based and heavily equipment oriented. And so manufacturing base are very, very important. And new startup ventures and market interest also should also actively looking into those perspective of using IoT. And not only that, in Thailand, we have a lot of new startup, but then how we gonna use that information and technologies to try to scale up our investment, and not only just starting, but we scale up and repeat all this model into a more advanced and mature state. So we need to move our industry of new startup ventures and market interest to a more advanced and mature stages. Okay, and again, looking into all these consumers, we can talk about home, smart home, smart parking, smart healthcare, smart farming, and all this. So all these innovation-oriented new product and services markets are also very important. So we really have to be carefully looking into make use of our competency and competitively able to attract various stakeholders to generate the externality impact, so we can gain huge influences by different peoples to promote the common effort of this of the entire industry. And that really depends not only in one industry, but it really depends into industry. And so strategy and its structures, again, in the importance area, we are talking about we have to the strategy, and we have to really not just a regular strategy. Now we have to focus on technological advancement strategy, innovation, scalability, repeatability strategy. And we can, and as I have already explained, that we should move our new ventures, a new entry of the businesses in this along this area to a more advanced level, not just simply startup, right? And capable strategies should be also capable of touching and reaching out to diversity of industry. And our strategies should be able to integrate various domains, from the factors to market domain across in industries, supporting domains and various domains. And we should also make use of this cyber physical system. and we should also change our educational system. So all these are the structures and strategies of the micro models that we have portals that we have looked into that, and we have found some starting dialogue in our nation talking about all this area. Factor condition, right? Those any kind of factors, financial factors, material factors, equipment factors, innovation factors, technological factors, and human resource factors. All these factors, readiness, right? And things are very, very important, including our social readiness, right? Well, again, if you look carefully, those at this moment we do have some weaknesses in business model, especially in terms of the, sometimes it's when we want to do something and we start with some prototypical prototypes, conceptual prototypes, and we are the speed of moving that prototype to this large scale investment is very slow, and the capability sometimes is not systematic, and is do not know where to go, how to go about it, and sometimes this group has the relationship with another person, so it's easier. Another group has no relationship and do not know where the repertoire of the knowledge is and the government system, and therefore has to look into those perspectives, and so that we can integrate a knowledge system. And again, sometimes it's incompatibility, because when anything's in transitions, we have the old technologies, we have the new technology, and so this investment the old technology has not returned sufficiently, and so therefore this depreciation issues and things like that, and also this incompatibilities and things like that. So these are all areas supporting. We have already talked about it, the security, digital infrastructures, and the support of the governments and NGOs and universities, and things, all kind of policies can also become a part of the supporting supporting area. And then the role of the government is very much, you see, the Thailand's are very much encouraging, the motivating company to raise the inspiration in those areas, IoTs area, and a lot of the active law enforcement and digital policies and things like that. But again, a lot more we have to do, especially at this larger scale and industries and social movement area. And so, in conclusion, we are seeing all these things touching here and there at the national dialogue, policymakers areas, and some of the people are talking about it, and which I've just summarized it without saying this is coming from who speak on it. But in some, to be exact, to formulate towards a goal of getting nationwide industry competitiveness by use of these IoT, Thailand is certainly currently focusing things that can be captured by this diamonds model. So that is good. That means that it is attractive to foreign investment. So we do welcome foreign investments on that. We do welcome active domestic investments on the agricultural IoT. Okay, these are very, very important. When I interviews with those presidents and others cases on this IoT implication, implementations, and IoT case association has been arranged, and in alignments with the microportals, because if you look carefully, they have on a factors condition, they have very much has educational focus. They're reskilling curriculums that they are working on it with other universities have already implemented and deliver many curriculum to Thai entrepreneurs and CEOs and technicians and engineers. And also on this technological development, they do understand there are certain issues like data flow, IoT security, and international cooperations with Huawei and others systems need India's IoT companies that to improve the system. And also they are very much aligned, their implementation aligned with the national policy, innovative IoT industries application, very strategy driven, and shared economy concept and business ecosystems driven. So strategies are very much aligned again with the ISO, with this portals dimension. of diamond, and they on this market segment perspective, the customer segmentation perspective, the demand conditioning perspective, they're really looking into business model. They're actively pursuing what kind of business model they can motivate the industries to adapt and adopt, and based on the theory of the perceived attributes of compatibilities and trialability, observability, which I've just explained. So in overview, the strategic pillars of competency of this association has been established that in alignment, capturing the downstream, upstream, supportings, and things like that. So they're very visionary association that can support this industry, agricultures, and other industries. So these pillars can because of this adoption of differentiate of these trialabilities, observability, can easily motivate and generate large-scale awareness nationwide. So these are the common motivation. And so on this, we can go into this step by steps of what they're doing, but it is not necessary, what things they have doing, like on the data flow system, they are working on, the information flowing among the in the manufacturing systems, interacting with ERP, enterprise resource planning, and then transforming that into a larger system, and also they are focusing on step-by-step basis, from localized automation at a machine level to the whole production line, to the whole smart factory, and then to the whole smart cities, and more crossings the boundary of the factory. So they have very gradual working groups on that, based on this Michael Porter's dimension. And they also realize that the business model need to be externality impact, that diversity of industry. So they are currently focusing on those domains: agriculture, machinery, and agriculture, industry, manufacturing, tourism, real estate, and educational sectors. And these are the things that they actively pursue, and in those market conditions area. And they also working carefully on agriculture, tourism, real estate, bearing in mind that these are something very important to Thailand because of their GDP contribution of for instance, tourism. And so these are the things that they work very, very hard. And on these factors, they also need to really help the SME farmers. And they realize there are certain weaknesses, like farmers showing phobia of interacting with the computers. And if they have to work with the industry, that is very much smaller scales and piecemeal. And so they know that there are certain things that they have done, they need to do, and things like that. And they fully exploit the cyber physical world, realizing that, for instance, Grab taxi, and nothing you can do with the digital world without the physical world. So the physical, they are very clear on this physical objects are necessary for digitization, right? So that is where the digital capability relied on this physical capability. And there are certain issue with hindering and restraining, which when we talk to them, when I interviewed them, so I found out that there are also dealing with shared resources that are probably needed because of the high investment. And so sharing resources are probably one of the addressing directions. But then how people share resources, that is a psychological barrier that also we need to get into that perspective. Otherwise, it will not be sustainable, realizable. And also, once you realize it, how do you sustain it? How do you organize the resources? And where you're going to put your resources, where you're going to, things like that, also very important, such as the motorbike. Once you have the motorbike, how you going to way to put your motorbike, and how you're going to maintain those is also very important. But again, there is psychological barriers and things like that, but they also never give up on that. Maybe they I'm sure that by interacting there would and with the blockchains coming into the picture, I'm sure that there will be ideas of innovations that we can that people can more easily co-share, co-utilize, and invest on that. So IoT, again, also another issue that they talk about it is product is a service. So IoT not as a product but as a service to provide solutions. This is a very, very important paradigm that that is what they are doing and contributing, especially and they also share that way they can invest, Thailand's can invest money in IoT. If you look and break down the value chains, most of these smart objects, connectivity, platforms, communications, and software customizations and things like that has already been occupied. So rest with this 10 to 20% of the value of IoT that probably has a lot of opportunity, and that is where applications of tourism, agriculture that they are focusing upon in order to that they can still bring about operational values and benefits, right? And so by means of smartness and connectivity in the network, the IoT system can turn the physical objects into active participants, so that which is already mentioned, that everything can be turned smart, okay, so that we can start the interactions with the people. And so because of the dialogue and communication services becomes more realistic, right? And so in conclusion, this association is really aimed, can contribute to standardizations and working towards standardization and of equipments and systems, so that they can use that as the resources and capability to allow the industries players to invest on it, and hopefully within a shared environment, economy environment, so that they can design their business model on that. So the business model configuration, and if we go into how they utilize the sensors and things like that, and we can with some of the business model suggestion based on the concept on the business of Industry 4.0. This can help a lot of things. It can help in terms of because of the sensors and monitoring real time. We can plus a lot of biologicals and chemical and physical physiological knowledge, and we can do a lot of things, right, such as sickness preventions and corrective actions of capability, right? This is competency, capability, and generate IoT solution for this for those farmers. And this, on the IoT activity and applications to span across the entire activity or business model. So IoT is not where is IoT should be invested. They should invest on every activity and business model. So every building blocks of the business model should have IoT. So IoT on the supply side, IoT on the resource side, IoT on the partnership side, IoT on the activity side, IoT on the value proposition side, IoT on the customer relationship management side, IoT on the channel distribution side, IoT on the customer engaging side, things like that, right? So these are very, very important that when we talk to them, how we're going to design business model, and they deliver that they are one of the value proposition is to solve the value to give the complete solution to the customer. So we really have to look into the complete solutions to the customer. That is the value proposition where IoT can contribute. And the second is the activity has to reach out to every component building block of the IoT of the business model. And the next thing is, for example, because of the IoT cyber physical connectivity system. So when you drill into the resources can be shared, right? Especially at the digital environment. And so in a network system, the IoT system should enable the flow of data, information, knowledge through internet and connectivity, and so that we can create a network resource leveraging capability at least at this system robustness level. If we can integrate all different types of data into a big data environment, so we can create a neural network and artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence resulted from network resource leveraging capabilities. Without the network resource leveraging capability, the resources cannot be turned into artificial intelligence, and meanings that the artificial intelligence resources cannot be leveraged to exploit it, right? And so this these are this couple of situation, and if you zoom summarize it into the business model, and this is all this page is all about. So we have this resources and capabilities which span across all these all kind of environments. So instead of just small blocks, I extended the resources and capabilities to be reaching out to every part of this. So this resource IoT resources capability has to touch upon, drive the partnership activity, and value propositions, channel distribution, relationship management, and customer segment, and things like that. So in terms of the resources, IoT resources, we have, as I explained, that we have these physical layer, we have the sensor layer, hardware, network, platforms, application, we have the engineering, operations, and capabilities of observing carefully on the farm, plant, and factory behavior, primary data collection, continuous learning, and transforming resources, and plus the IoT associations also played a very important role. In terms of value propositions, we have automation, smart services driven, greater customers benefit. Big pictures of the business operation, innovation driven, could be Internet of Pigs, Internet of Chickens, and predictive capability, predictive value monitoring, control system, real-time insight, contextual understandings of what's happening so that we can prescribe what to do in view of the changing context, real-time insight, contextual insight, therefore very important, visibility, because of the real-time presentations and analytics of the visualization, the visibilities can reach up to the analytics results area. Productivities and also can be increased tremendously, risk reduction because we have the knowledge, design and enrichment, right? We can design enrichments, customized, solution driven, outcome driven, so we can guarantee on the outcomes rather than selling the product. And so it's kind of very high-end servitizations, convenient traceability control becomes very robust, responsiveness to the trend, to the needs and requirements and expectation. The customers, continuous learning is adaptive, is realistic, and even we can reach up to the higher level of the learning, safety, security, engineering, knowledge, and information richness of the business. So the business becomes information richness, which we can also package it up as a value proposition to the customers, so that they feel that they are in control of the information, right? So they have the cost advantages and differentiation, and because of this automated services and control monitoring, we foster a better relationship with the customer. Interactive communication also is part of the contribution and induce working factors on the relationship enrichment, and giving the customers with all this contextual insight also enrich the relationship capabilities and engagement, and improving the activeness and engagement levels of the customer. And these are also very important, and we can have multi-channel, right? Mobile phone activated data platform, cloud computing, connected logistics, and omni-channels and things like that. And we can reach out to diversity of the customers, and also diversity of the partnership, including exhibitions and events organizers, and things like that. And context, contingencies or applications oriented, so we can provide revenue based on how we adapt and suggest solution to different context. So context, contingency, and different application oriented, whether you want monitoring or you want control or you want other types of services or solution oriented or outcomes oriented. So different types of application and real times and on demand and revenue streams are also very, very much feasible. So these are the typical business model configuration. Doing so, we can come to the end of the conclusion, which is the going to provide some strategic implementation, recommendation. So strategically speaking, it is very important that we integrate Porter's diamonds model, because working on individual one is never happened to generate a competitiveness. And so it is very important that we have to integrate all this perspective to present it as a strategic level of understanding and focus. Active national policy support awareness and visualization is very important. Visualizations promote motivation and fast adoption, including the visualizations of how the business models can be utilized and who is going to help on which part of the building blocks. Challenges such as phobia has to be resolved, and which can be simplifications through technologies, again, the business model utilization, and also we need to instill the mindset of cost sharing and quickly upgrade our equipments to be security robust, right, and things like that. And in business model partnership, we know that we need to integrate various perspectives of the business model, so that integrating Porter's structures, elements, governmental roles, and chance conditions, plus the governmental roles and chance conditions are very important as partnership. Resources, we demonstrated the importance of shared economy, network leveraging resources, and engineering-oriented knowledge is very important. And better propositions, we need to make use of these cyber-physical properties and operation visualization. Customers, we should be more systematically capable to convince the customer and to equip them with the opportunity and market opportunities and the competency, adaptability, so that they can we can teach them how to pull more innovation from the upstream. And so rather than we push, right, we teach them how to fish, right? Teach them how to pull people. And activities should underpin on the digital ecosystems concept and shared economy principle, and reach out to every component, integrate them, and provide a solution to the customers rather than selling product. Okay, so these are very, very important. The next situation, this is the next topics, emotional experience marketing. We will not touch upon this. We will stop here and